welcome everybody. We are working on our technical issues. We do see somebody who's already with us tonight, and we're going to get started because we've been getting a lot of feedback that people are joining the live. So just give us a few minutes so we'll make sure that all of our platforms are on. We're not going to put a pause for anything anymore, but you guys just be patient with us as we get everything in tune and on the screens. All right. We're so excited about tonight. There's some great things happening, and God is moving in such a way. Sometimes you can't keep up with what He's doing, but you're excited about what God is doing. So, you guys, come on in. We're going to wait till some of you guys join us tonight. If you know that you were supposed to be on the show tonight, let's go. We have some great guests tonight, and I'm just excited about the topics, about what we've been learning and how we've been helping people and the lives that have been changed. So y'all just be patient with us tonight and give us a moment to get ourselves all lined up with all of our channels. As you know, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on LaNier-Mckinnie Enterprise Personal Business page. Also, we have so many people who responded to us telling us that they needed our help and assistance, and we're just looking to do even more as we move forward. So stay in touch with us, stay live, and give us a few minutes till we get in. All right, we're going to put the music on just for one more time, and we should be back in 30 seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. We are ready to get started, and we're so excited about what's been happening and what God has been doing. Again, welcome tonight. Today is July 20th. It's been such a busy day, an unexpected day, but we thank God that we are all here. We do just see that someone has joined us. There's a check mark. All right, all right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, as you come in, if you would like, please put in the chat where you're tuning in from. You could be tuning in from Tennessee, New Jersey, all over the place, where you've seen me and Deborah do what we have to do for this awesome ministry that God has us on. I'm so thankful that you've come to the Talk Storm. The Talk Storm is here to assist all types of topics that comes from the book that originated from myself as the author, Generational Curses No More. So I'm just excited about tonight, Deborah. I don't know how you feel, but even though you feel like sometimes you've been beat up and things are just going a little crazy, but yet you still maintain the vision, you still maintain your purpose, and you don't let it go, you know. So we do have a guest that's coming on tonight. And we're going to give her a little bit of time to come on in, but we're just definitely going to be able to just entertain you guys tonight with the information that we have developed. We have some videos, we have a lot of dialogue, and just so that you are reminded, I want to give you the topic that we are interested in just elaborating on tonight. The topic that we have for tonight, and you guys, is the amount of reports that are staggering. And the research that we've been doing, the reports, we just want to know, will they ever change? And we have a special guest who will be joining us soon. Her name is, she's an actress and model. We'll tell you more about her. Her name is Tiyonna Jones. But at this time, we're just so excited that we are, continuing the work that God has given us. Thank you so much, Khadijah, for tuning in tonight. And we just want you to know we're so appreciative to your support for the Talk Storm. And as people roll in, just make sure you put where you're calling in from, all right? Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I'm echoing my sister Leticia, or T, better known as. We are all in agreement that we are just happy that we're still able to continue on with this, and we appreciate your support. Thank you so much for joining. Matter of fact, if you're here already, go ahead and tag someone, invite a friend into this live. This is something that we're about to go into some very important dialogue. We're going to be sharing information as well as unpacking in real time. So for the people who are ready for those honest, transparent conversations, conversations that are exposing situations, people, things, places, accountability is on the table. All these things that we know it is time. We are right on time for. Please invite your friends, your family, your pastors, your clergy, bishops, imams. Invite every and anybody, as we know that in some way have been impacted by what we're addressing on the show. And it is years and years of unchecked sexual violations and abuse against children, against who grow into men and women, right? And against women and against different populations in society, not only in the church, in our families, in our communities. And we're saying, starting off with the book, and to quote the title of T's book, Generational Curses No More. So if you are a generational curse breaker, we put in the comments, I'm breaking generational curses.
I know that's right.
If
I
you
know
are,
that's
you consider yourself a generational curse breaker, say, I'm breaking generational curses, or say, I'm with you, I'm in. Put it in the comments, like, comment, share, tag your friends, your family, your network, everybody, because we want to make sure we have you here before we go in. Yes, we want you all to join us before we go in because we have a lot to share, right, T?
Oh, we sure do. I'm really thinking about so many things. We're going to do sort of a reverse on our show tonight. We do apologize that our guest has contacted us and let us know that she is in a situation. She had a flat on her way to get herself settled for the event tonight. So hey, how you doing, Khadijah? We see that you're on here. We thank you so much for tuning in from Columbus, Ohio. So I just saw that real quickly. I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in, Khadijah. You're one of our greatest supporters, and we thank God for you. We thank God for your testimony. We thank God for your heart. All you have to do is, she says she wants to know how to invite. All you have to do is give someone my link. You can copy and paste my link and send it to them through Messenger, and they can just jump right in. All they have to do is come to my regular page, or they could tune in at LaNier-Mckinnie Enterprises at YouTube.com, or you can look at even the business Facebook page. It's there live as well. So we're definitely okay. Wonderful. We got about 3 people up on here. Come on, y'all, keep on moving it. As a matter of fact, if you want
Thank
to
you
tell us
so
where
much.
you're
Thank you, thank you,
tuning
thank you, thank you
in,
for
we'll be
joining.
so excited. I'm sorry about the sunlight. It's something about the sunlight that just pierces at this time of the day. So if y'all see some color over my face, I'm trying to avoid it and get away from it. But I'm just really excited about tonight because we do know that God has been changing lives. And I just want to repeat, since we got some eyes that's coming in, please tell us where you're from. Just put in the chat where you're from. And we see everything in real time when you give your information in the chat or whatever you're saying. So we thank you so much for just being there. This is the other thing. I want you to know we're going to do a show a little bit in reverse tonight. And reverse would be whatever we do near the end. We're actually taking it and tagging it to the front so that we can give our guests time to be able to log in and get started as well. But I'm just really, my heart has been going out to doing more research, gaining in depth knowledge on how deep this demon of sexual abuse in the church has really gone and how long he has been around, and also how many people have been affected. So, we have something that we want to show you tonight. And we're going to give you a few minutes just to absorb it. I'm going to
And I
read
just
you
want to
the.
pause on that.
Yes. You ready? Go ahead. You can pause.
I just wanted to pause on that just for 1 second because I see we're asking don't know how to invite from live. I think you
I
could
just
tag
said it.
people directly on the comment. Okay,
Okay.
I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, I
Or
just
well,
about
another
to.
option I want to speak on another option is that if you copy the link,
Yeah,
I
totally.
think we're getting some backlog. We're having delays then. I didn't yeah, I'm not catching everything.
Oh, you didn't catch anything I said? Oh my goodness, I said a whole mountain. Can you hear me now?
Well, I caught some of it, but I didn't catch everything. I hear
Oh
you.
wow.
If you could copy, you could also copy the link and share it on your page. So, but anyway, like, comment, share, invite your friends, your family, whomever you would like to join us, who you feel like can benefit from our conversations. If you have supported what you have, you've been on the shows before and kind of got an idea of what the content is and what we're talking about and what we're trying to do. We're actually starting a movement. And it all came
Yeah.
from the book Generational Curses No More. We're starting
Yeah.
a movement to not only expose, but to bring accountability and to also work on our healing as a collective. And we believe that we need to be honest and have these conversations in order to heal. So thank you so much again for joining.
Right, right, right. So that's excellent, Deborah. I do want to know. Please tell me, do you? There's our guest. She's coming in. There she go. Her beautiful self. Let's see how this is
Hi,
coming. Hey, how are you, Miss Tiana?
I am doing well. How about
Listen,
you?
it's great to see you tonight. We're so glad. Are you all right? The family all right? The boys all right?
Yes, we're okay.
You
Thank
looking
you.
absolutely gorgeous, baby girl.
Thank you. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're doing well. We was just doing a little bit, couple of preliminaries and
Hi,
getting ready for
Tiana. Hey, baby
you.
cuz.
Oh yeah.
Hi,
Oh
how are
yeah.
you?
So what I wanna do is be cognizant of your
And let me
situation.
just apologize in advance because I'm having like a delay and there's a lag on the audio.
What about you, Tiana?
No, you guys are coming in just fine.
Yeah, you're good with me too. Deborah, what can we do to fix that? Because I'll be talking and you jump right in, so I know you can't hear me. Is there anything you can do to fix that? You're on mute. You're on mute.
It's okay. We're gonna get it together.
Yeah, she probably gonna realize. Tiana, I'm really excited. I do want to say I want to be very cognizant of your situation and where you are right now. I explained to our audience that there is a slight delay for your schedule because you had it's always something. The enemy's been fighting all day, and I know that
Oh,
he's
week.
been fighting all week. Let's say that,
Oh,
and
week.
like
I've been going through it.
I believe, and I was telling Deborah, I said, whenever you're doing something that pleases the Lord, whenever yoke's about to be broken, all hell seems to break loose. And that's when you have to know, I have to push a little bit harder so that I can actually see the glory of the Lord. Because God wants to reveal himself on the earth, but a lot of times we get consumed with the business of the difficulty that we don't see he's working on our behalf, but the enemy hates it.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, he does.
Cause
And
see
I
on
just
the
want
chat, look, we know, right? Look,
yes,
we've
that's what I
been
was like.
dealing
Thank
with some
you,
stuff. Look,
and
left
thank you for
and right.
calling me.
Woo!
This
Left
morning
and
when you called me to pray, I was like, "Yes, Lord, you came right on time," because I was breaking down.
but you know what? I believe in all essence that the enemy does not want God's work to go through, and he does not want us to be able to expound upon the deliverance that's happening in our lives.
Yes,
It's his objective to not allow us to have ease with getting our testimony to make someone else be able to change their life. And so
yes.
I want to keep talking in that vein. If you got something to add into that before the board will go in, because I want you to go into your testimony, but not right now. But if you want to elaborate how the enemy tries to come and lift up this crazy war against you when you have to do an assignment that's going to change somebody's lives. Am I wrong, Tiana?
No, you're not wrong. You will have people just coming to attack you out of nowhere,
No.
and you will feel very overwhelmed. You will feel like you can't go no more.
Yeah.
And I encourage everyone to just keep pushing, even though it is hard. You guys, I am a huge advocate for just pushing through. When people
Yeah.
ask me to define myself in one word, I give it all the time: perseverance.
Yeah.
You have to keep pushing. No matter how
Exactly.
hard it gets, you have to
Hmm.
keep going. You
Because
can't
if
give
you
up.
give up, if
You
you do,
cannot.
what's the result? It's
If
no
you give up, the
fun.
enemy will be able to take over more people, and you just have to keep going. You have to shed that love. You have to shed light. Even when
Right.
people are attacking you, send them love and light. They may have so many
Keep going. You have to
opinions
share that
about you.
love.
They don't even know you from a can of paint. Just
Like,
keep giving love and light, and just keep showing up. Never stop showing up, no matter
Exactly.
what it is. Never stop.
Exactly, exactly. And that's really good right there because if we don't learn that God created us, like you said, the light, He created us as the salt of the earth.
Yes.
And being the salt of the earth, we're supposed to bring season and spice and great smells, great aroma. If, girl, don't get me started. So, thinking about that analogy, we're not here just to live and allow the enemy to tear us up and beat us down. We're supposed to be that beacon of hope for those who say, listen, I have no more pushing me. Mm. I have
Mm.
no more power. I
No more
have
fights.
no more fight, no more strength.
Oh,
If we don't be that example that all things will work together for your good and that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, what will happen is we'll become a part of the norm and we'll lose our salt, we'll lose our light, we'll lose our flavor to make change in other people's lives. And
yes.
that's not an example for our children.
That part right there, which is why
That
I keep
part.
fighting so hard. Because my two boys, I refuse to allow them to see me break down. They will see me
Right.
cry sometimes to the point where they're giving me hugs, but I would never stop. Keep like you have to keep fighting.
You
I
got
have
to.
two young kids I am raising. They are
Yeah.
everything to me. No
Right.
matter what people may say, they are everything to me. You must keep fighting because you have people who look up to you, and
Right.
it is imperative for you to set a right example. It is imperative for you to make sure that you are leaving a blueprint that they can follow, one that they won't be able to stumble so many times that you have stumbled. And if you're not doing that, then what are you doing?
Go ahead. Go ahead. So, Deborah, we're going to segue right here. We've been talking about how every time you get ready to do something, the enemy comes up against you and tries to put everything in your way to prevent you because there is a soul out there that needs to hear from you. And you're the only component. How about shit? How about y'all? Excuse me. You are the only component that is necessary for them to get to their next level, but they have to hear your voice. They have to see your face. They have to know your story so that they know, oh, there is victory. So we was talking about that, right, Tiana? We just going into that. And it's just such an excellent topic so that people know don't give up. You don't have to give
Please
up.
don't.
Don't give up. Barbara, go ahead. What do you want to add to that? Because I think that's a
and
really
it's
good.
all tied into purpose. It,
Yeah, yeah. It's time to purpose. We heard you. Did you hear us?
I'm still having that lag for some reason. Why this is happening? But can you hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yes.
good. We hear you good. And we hear you in
Okay.
time.
Well, hopefully it will correct itself. Right now, having major technical difficulties, but I just wanted to really kind of piggyback off of that because I did catch a lot of what was said, and I just really believe that that ties into purpose. And because
Yeah.
of the way things work, the struggle of life, and people coming with the opposition and the enemy sending people or whatever, just know that you're going to be victorious no matter what.
Right.
You're
Right.
victorious no matter what. And that's
Yeah.
the whole thing. Because you have purpose, because there's a plan and you have divine destiny in your life, just expect that you will have some dark, some challenges because you're being refined, to get to your next level and to have the wisdom, you have to have some experiences that you're going to have. You're going to have it. But I count it as joy because I realize that I wouldn't be fought against this way if I didn't have a divine, amazing purpose that God has a
You better
calling
come
on my
on
life.
here.
Not a question. No question.
Yes.
Come on
Yeah,
now.
you know what? Go
Hopefully you
ahead.
can hear me.
That was good. That was good right
I
there.
hope so.
I will say to you, if you guys can see the chat, I can't because my screen is extremely full. So if you see the chat, just you can comment or do you see the chat, Deborah? I see there's a couple of
Hey,
cats.
from Columbus,
I do.
Ohio.
Yes, yes. You see it?
Yes.
So if you want, do you want to
I do. I do. But yeah,
are
the
you
thing
able
is
to
that if you see this now or if you see it later, whatever time you do see it, we thank you so much for joining us.
do you want to reply? Do you want to reply? Can you hear me? No? You can't hear me?
Can I hear you?
Deborah. I think she's having difficulty hearing.
Is lagging really bad, and I actually have all of my windows closed right now, so I don't know why it's lagging. I have the Wi-Fi full connection, so I'm not exactly sure what's going
Okay.
on. But maybe I could try to troubleshoot this once you do start your video to play the video.
Okay, let's see what we can
Yeah.
do. So, Tiana, do you want us to go into your testimony? Does time seem like it will make sense to jump right in, or do you want us to get into the videos, have a discussion? Because that's where we were going to go, but I didn't know you would have a difficulty. Khadijah says she's hearing us really well, so we're good on live. They
Okay.
do hear us good. But Tiana, what do you think? We can go into the other part of the program, or you want to jump right in? Because if you're
Okay,
ready, I'm
good.
ready. I don't know.
Okay. So I honestly feel like, oof,
You want to pause, or you want us to go into the movie, or the videos, or what
play
would
the
you like?
video.
Okay, and we can talk about it. Give you a breather, and then you can jump right in when you're ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right, Deborah, you good? You on point now, boy. We hear you on. You're on point right now. That's good.
Yes.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to share my screen. If you guys give me just a moment.
good.
I'm really excited because I know God is about to make some changes in somebody's life, and the enemy, y'all know the fire we felt right before we even turned on the computer tonight. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Woo, it felt like, Lord, should we do this? What's going on?
Oof.
Should we cancel God? You see, and Deborah's still going through. The devil is a liar. Let me open this up, and we're gonna get started. It's gonna say, this saying entire screen, and we'll allow it. Let's get started. I just want you guys to see this video. Let me give you a preface. The video is about different things that's been happening in our churches and our communities, most recent, and some of them way before our time. So, Tiana, do you guys see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. And what I'm going to do is make certain that the sound is right too. You tell me if the sound crazy. Let me know if you when you hear anything. Oh, Grace. Let's try it again. What just happened there?
Don't worry. We're gonna get through it.
You see,
So,
it's always something crazy,
it
right?
is like everything was working just fine last night and this morning,
Yeah.
so it's like don't even
Oh,
worry about it.
good Jesus. All right. Let's see. Maybe I don't
Because
even.
if we got to go with me just telling everything and then we do this, then we can do it that way.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not even afraid. For where God is about to take us. But we. Let me. If you feel like you're ready to jump right in, is the word there? There's the word again. I don't see the word.
I don't
And
see
why am I
it.
here twice? Can you see me twice? You see me twice?
I
Woo,
see it
technology.
twice.
I don't know why I'm there
I
twice. Why am I there twice?
see myself twice. Well, three times. I see. Wait. Okay.
Dude, are you
It's the
serious?
screen. Exit out the screen that you're trying to play the video on. Your screen sharing.
Oh, so stop the screams here?
Hmm.
Okay, let's see if that'll work.
There you go. And then now we just need to wait for Deborah to come back in.
Okay, so man, I don't know why it's such a complex. It's supposed to, I know Deborah said she wanted to do something else, but she gonna have to do something else because
She's
one thing
resetting her
about,
Wi-Fi right now.
huh?
She's like resetting her settings and everything so that way she can come in a little
Come
bit
in
clearer.
full. All right. All
Yeah.
right. So I think that whatever it is with this movie, we're going to see what's wrong with it. I'm going to check it while I don't have y'all on, okay? I did
Okay.
download it. So I'm open up the downloads, play this here. And I'm going to share my screen in a minute. That way we can have something going on while Deborah's trying to figure out what's going on, okay? So,
Okay.
guys, guess what? we be real honest with you. Sometimes things don't always go the way you plan, but
Mm-hmm.
God has a plan. You understand, and you don't
Ooh,
stop because difficulty happens. Because life is life. That's the
yes,
realness of it.
I've been
So
hearing that all week. Like,
life
okay.
is going to be life, and that's all it's going to be. All right, so I'm gonna start sharing my screen one more time. Hopefully, it's gonna make sense because it's just crazy sometimes. It says select a window or screen. Let me just select entire screen. I don't know if I should do entire screen. No, entire screen. All right. So if I do entire screen, I'm gonna allow this. Now you tell me what you see, boo.
Okay.
All right. Let's see if it'll go wide. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it there?
Mm-hmm. I see it. Fat verse.
Is this big enough?
Can you widen the screen
It won't
so
let
where it have it where you're
me.
supposed to share it? Just
Oh, there you go.
there you go.
Did that work?
And turn up your volume.
Is it loud enough?
Mm-mm.
Nope. Ew, that's not good. Now, this is not what you call this is not mute.
But so we can, if you want, we can go ahead and go straight into telling everybody about what's been going on while you're still trying to get the video to pull up.
All right, so let's pause on the video
Yeah,
and
that way
let's get
we're
started. That way things are moving. I don't know why
hmm
it's getting so rough tonight, but the devil is a liar. So
busy.
stop sharing my screen. Am I still sharing or stop?
You're still sharing.
I'm still
Oh
sharing.
no, no, no! It stopped.
Oh man. Okay. So what I was getting ready to do is to see why the volume wouldn't come in with the video because it's different than Zoom. You do it with Zoom, you got that difference. So let's get started with your story because this is why we're here. Tiana, you ready?
Let's get started.
All
Okay.
right, so let me introduce to you guys real quickly. This is the beautiful, lovely Miss Tiana Jones. She's definitely an actress and a model. She has a lot of wonderful gifts. She's a great mother of two, and yes, she is a single mother. And we want to say so much. We're so grateful for your time. We're so grateful for your story. We're so grateful for you giving us a few. I'm sorry, this light is driving me crazy, y'all, because I can't do anything about it. I keep trying to block it. But we just thankful that you would take the time out and come to speak with us and let us know your story so it can help benefit and help someone else know that this too shall pass and you can get up out. All right, so I'm going to give the floor to Miss Tiana Jones. You go ahead and take the floor, sweetheart.
Okay. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. As she said, my name is Tiana Jones. I go by Ty, and I just want to give a disclaimer for this is going to be pretty touching. I'm going to just go ahead and get started. At the age of 4 and 5, I was molested, and it was by a family friend of ours. Um, from that, it started to become a cycle. I was sexually molested by my cousin and two of our family friends. I did reach out for help. I did tell adults, but it seemed like my cry went unheard. It seemed like no one was really doing anything about it, especially people who I did tell. From there is where I went to church one day, and my pastor um, slid his hand underneath my dress. And he was so bold with it that he did it in front of the entire congregation, but in a way to where they could not see. And this is someone who my grandmother loved so much, who she would speak so highly of. However, he wasn't operating in a kingdom leadership the way he should have. Oof. Um,
I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
from there, I kept everything in. And once I got into high school, I was then raped by one of my boyfriends. Um, I did tell a couple of people what was going on. And then it was rumors that was going around school. Instead of people believing me and what I was saying, I was deemed as the whore, and I was called out my name, and I was bullied for it. But at that moment, I felt like my cry was falling on deaf ears. Um, when someone comes to you and they're telling you, hey, I'm being raped, I'm being molested, these are the people who's doing it, this is the location where it's happening, you need to take heed to it, you need to take action so that way you can protect that person. Whew. Let me just take a breather here for a second.
Take your time.
So, um, from that, it started, the sexual abuse became physical abuse. Um, the first man to put his hands on me was my mother's husband. I have forgiven him for the things that he have done, and he is no longer here with us. And from that moment when he put his hands on me, I started to run away. And me running away ran me into an abusive marriage. In the abusive marriage, I would call home and I would say, hey, I need to come home because this is what's going on. He put his hands on me. I am scared. I don't want to be here anymore. Can I come home? And I was told, there's no reason for you to come home back to Augusta because there's nothing here for you. Stay there and make your marriage work. Staying in that abusive marriage put me in a predicament to where I was facing life or death situations. Situations where my son had to watch me having a gun pulled out, not just one time, but multiple occasions. From there, having the windows bashed in. From after having the windows bashed in to me calling and crying out to NCOs, generals, commanders, just going to everyone trying to get some help, and everyone turned a blind. Everyone just ignored everything I was saying, even though there is proof. There's police reports, there's documentation, there's restraining orders, and it's like it doesn't matter. I don't understand why it is hard for us to protect women, why it's hard for us to protect our children.
Yeah.
This cannot keep going on. We have young girls missing left and right. You have children getting killed, children being sold for pornography. Like, if we don't get it together as a nation and stop this turmoil that is going on, we are not going to be here. Like, we're not going to be here anyway, but I just feel like it's not going to stop. Like, and I would like for it to stop. But when is it going to be a point where our leaders who say they are leaders take charge and they stop the foolishness?
Yeah.
They stop kids from being raped and molested. You stop ignoring your children when they say they don't feel comfortable going over a family member's house.
Yeah.
You have to listen to them when they start acting differently. Pay attention. Your children don't just switch up out the blue for no reason.
Right.
It's either something has happened, they have been subjected to something, but you can no longer turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
It's it's getting normalized, and that's not normal. Why are we normalizing sexual abuse and physical abuse and mental abuse? Why are we normalizing disrespect? This is not okay.
Can I just uh, say to you, I'm so proud of you because a lot of women in this very, very moment are dealing with what God is pulling you out and pulled you out. And when you was telling your story, I was thinking about my mommy. The enemy been after her since she was probably conceived. She had in every way been abused, and it was almost like when you tell your story, you feel like you've been a sexual rag doll,
Yes, a physical rat dog.
physical and sexual and emotional rag doll, and you transferred from one person to one person. That was the same mess as a little girl, Audrey LaNier, started out and throughout her life. And then because She wanted to run away from the abuse, like you. She got married to an abuser.
Mhm.
And it seemed like it's a mirror image. The things you did differently was you told someone and they did not do what was necessary, not only to protect you, but to at least be that ear, that person who can absorb your information and say, listen, okay, what can I do to fix it? I don't, because I'm gonna tell you something. We have 70-year-olds that's been on our platform, 80-year-olds who said to us, well, what do you do when you don't know what to do? A lot of times those mothers back then closed their mouths because they needed that check to come in when that man brought their check. It was any other reason they could find but to protect that child. We don't know what your mom been through to in her mentality, what she was thinking, but I will know this is that when you don't know to do right or don't know what to do, you often do the wrong thing. Go ahead, somebody take it.
Yeah. Me personally, I say it all the time. No matter what you're going through, you do the right thing. Even when all odds are against you, you do the right thing. You tell the truth. You have to, because if you don't, it's going to come back on you. That falls back on you. So you have to take responsibility as an adult, and you have to know that it's not right and stop it.
Right, 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 right.
It's okay if it's not okay that it's family, but it's okay for you to go against your own family member to stop something from happening that is detrimental to a child's development. The kids have to grow up, and if you're not helping them to be able to develop in a healthy manner,
You can't
society is
get
going to do it.
mad. Exactly, but you can't be mad if they don't turn out the way you want them to turn out because you did not. You weren't that beacon of hope that they needed at the very moment that they needed you to be. But guess what? Here's the thing: a lot of problems were and is that a lot of parents they don't have a manual for how to be a good parent. I know that sounds really bad. There is no manual to teach you how
Thank
to
you.
do what. Now you
Your
can have
parents.
books all you want. You can have books all you want, but the truth be told, God gives women this gift of nurturing and
Yes.
the nature and nurture. And we learn that because there's an innate seed inside of us that tells us how to love a child. The only problem is he didn't give us a big old book to tell us when problems go wrong. He is who you call. He is how
Hmm.
you do it. But you know how to console the right way, how to emotionally be supportive. Those are the things that we as women do not get. Even fathers, you don't get those manuals. You don't get instructions. So you only go based on your own story. And the reason why I say your own story is because a lot of times people take their pain and they relate their pain to how their mother treated them when they
Hmm.
told their mother
Or they project that onto you.
because they don't know any different. They don't know
Yeah.
any different. And that's where the power of forgiveness steps in because
Yes.
you start trying to realize it through their eyes. Well, if I know your story, mommy, then I can understand why you treated me or did this or decide this way to handle me. But
Yes.
sometimes mommies don't tell us their story, do they?
No. To this day, I'm like, Mom, but and she just holds some things back. And I feel like that's her way of not only protecting herself, but also protecting me. But you also have to realize you have to be open with your children, even about the most uncomfortable things, because you never know what your child is going through. Because kids not going to tell their parents everything.
Not at all. Tell
We're,
me,
we're
no,
not
I
going to tell
know.
you everything. My mama
You're
just get
right.
on my case about that last night. I don't
You're
tell
right.
her everything.
You're
And
right.
sometimes we'll try to deal with everything, and we end up suffering in silence.
Right.
And I've dealt with that for many years of just sitting in silence, not saying anything.
Hmm.
Went crying for help, but then once I noticed that my cry was falling on deaf ears, I became mute.
Yeah.
You couldn't get me to tell you what was going on with me. I would
Mm.
smile, post pictures, and I would act like everything was okay with me, but I wasn't okay inside. I was
Yeah.
holding on so much pain. I
Hmm.
felt burdened by a lot of things.
Right. Right.
It was insecurities within me being alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not in my looks, but me being alive and walking on this earth. Do I deserve to be alive? Because if I deserve to be alive, why am I going through X, Y, and Z?
But you know what? You were living in the natural state of in between puberty and just being a 20-something-year-old. Because a lot of me and the boy was talking earlier that 20-year-olds have a they're still stuck in I'm still growing and learning this life, and they may not
Yeah.
make all the smartest decisions because they still have to get past a certain hump. What is that hump? It's still some puberty things going on that's making you make bad choices. So now you're not only dealing with just you're dealing with puberty and still that stage, you're dealing with realities of things that have been the violations that have come against you. So I can imagine the emotional chaos that you experience and then feeling neglected when you told your story. Good God. That's one season of pure hell. Like, especially when you come to the realization of what violations have been done to you.
Hi,
It's,
can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
Okay, my apologies.
I said, especially when you come to the realizations of the actual violations that's been done to you. You don't really get it until you're a certain age that you've been violated. Like,
You better come
really
on
get
here.
it? What? When did you really recognize you were being really, really abused and that there was a pattern in your life?
Honestly, I'm not go. I've been noticing it since I was young, because I knew something
And
wasn't
that's
right.
unique.
But
That's
to
unique.
realize everything that was going on, it didn't hit me until about 2 years ago. I was going through a lot of, just a lot. And matter of fact, last year in March, when I checked myself into the mental hospital because I was overwhelmed with everything that was coming at me.
Wow.
And I was made fun of for going there, but I needed to go there because I felt like I was not safe being alone,
Mhm.
because my kids was being kept away from me and I wasn't able to talk to them. I was dealing with a marriage that failed. I was dealing with being recently diagnosed with MS. And there
Mhm.
was just so much that was just going on. And then I just felt like a failure. And I
So
just sat down in
how
that.
old were you when you got married? You mind me
I was
asking?
17 years old.
Oh, that's Audrey. Audrey got married at 16. Oh my God.
Been
Deborah,
married for
I wish
11
you could
years.
get in there, Deborah. Can you get in there, Deborah?
But yeah, I definitely, I want to pause there for a second. Is anybody able to hear me? Am I being heard right now? Because I'm
You're
having a
Yes.
good.
hard time with this
You're,
broadcast tonight.
you're
But if
great.
raise your hand if you can hear me. Just raise your hand if you can hear me, because I'm talking over everybody right now, and I don't want to talk over you. Okay, good,
No,
good,
you're
good.
not. No, you're
I want to
not. No, you're
say, I commend, I condone, I appreciate, I commend, I condone, and I'm so grateful that you took your mental health seriously. I feel like a lot of what was allowed to persist historically and throughout generations, these curses, is because mental health was not taken seriously. It
Hmm.
was a taboo thing. You decided to take charge of that, and you recognize what was going on with you rather than act like it's not happening, rather than be oblivious to it, rather than be in denial, rather than possibly put yourself in more grave danger or any type of thing. You was responsible enough to take care of your mental health. And the same way that a lot of people say, we got to get fit physically. Well, God didn't only give us just one faculty of our being. We have a body, but we have a mind,
Right.
we have a heart, we have a spirit, and all faculties, all parts need to be catered to. So I want to stop just there and say, I applaud you,
yeah.
because
Thank
I
you.
truly believe that if mental health was taken seriously in the beginning,
Hmm.
absolutely. If it was
Oh, yeah.
taken seriously in the beginning, going back to when you first had the offense, when the first offense was made against you,
Right.
if mental health was taken seriously, then that child, that troubled child that committed that against you, would have gotten the help that he needed and wouldn't have been in that space. And I know we say shoulda, coulda, woulda, we can't erase time, but these are the
Yeah.
things to point out for going forward. These
Right.
are the things to point out, to realize and know the signs. And we've talked about this. And right now, if there's a troubled child in the spaces with other children, sometimes we have to know these children don't need to be in spaces alone.
Exactly.
So
Thank you.
that was a mental health issue because other people are dealing with their traumas, and is rolling over into their children's traumas, because we could only fathom, and we know some of the story of what happened to the person who harmed you first, and his parents and his parents' parents, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So right now we're here, and this is the type of thing we need to talk about. We need to highlight the fact that you took your mental health seriously. So I'm grateful for that. I commend you.
Thank
I
you.
agree. I
Thank
agree.
you. And in touch bases, when people will tell you, oh, kids can't molest kids. Yes, they can.
What? Tell me,
Yes,
girl.
they can. And they will do it with
You
no
better
problem.
say it. Yeah.
Especially if you don't raise the awareness that, hey, this is not okay. You're not supposed
Mm,
to be doing things like this.
Right.
And seek them to help. Like my children, they're in counseling
absolutely.
till this day. I
Yeah.
am a huge advocate for putting my kids in therapy and myself in therapy. Why? Because they witnessed me go through so much,
But
and
just
I've been through so much.
imagine, Tiana, just imagine our parents went through just about the same, and they did not go for psychological help. So when they got to 50 and 60 and 70 years old, you start realizing habits that getting worse and worse as they get older. It's because there's so much years of abuse that they've been through that they never dealt with.
Exactly. And then you have to have that compassion for them, and you have to
Right.
give them that
Absolutely.
grace.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Boy, compassion and grace.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my mother and I love her to death. That woman, I love
Yes,
her to
yes,
death.
yes. That's a
I
part of the
really do.
process once you are, able to work on your healing.
Yeah.
Yes, and you realize, give grace, give compassion, because it takes time to go through those emotions and to be able to car- wait a minute, to be able to like put them all in order and to be able to like just deal with them.
Right.
It
Right.
takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And you can't rush anyone healing process, and you have to give them
It
compassion
does.
when they don't heal the same way you have healed. Not everyone is going to heal the way you heal, and you can't pick on people the way they do it either. So if somebody keep their nails done, their hair done, their lashes done, that's part of mental health. You know why? Because it's self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
People handle their mental health completely different.
Different. Yeah.
But if they're abusing drugs and alcohol, yes, they do need to seek further help and guidance.
Yeah.
However, allow people to be human and
Right.
stop being so quick to judge and stop
Right.
being so quick to try to rule them the way you want them to rule, because ain't nobody gonna move the way you want them to move. And
Mm.
until you realize that, you're not gonna be able to heal from your own stuff.
How old are you, beautiful?
I'm 28. I'll be 29 next week on Friday.
Yes,
Exactly.
still smelling
And a
like
lot of people
cinnamon.
that project, oh, I'm sorry. It's a
She's
lag
so
again.
cute. And she's so beautiful. Listen, let me tell you something. I'm so
She's beautiful. But
proud
let me just say, a
of
lot of
her.
people project stuff onto other people. Like, they have this thing with them where they're always kind of measuring and examining other people, because what happens in that situation is they don't have the time to go within and turn that intention inward and see, what
Right.
can I do, what do I need to do for myself. So we just have to, pretty much, like the scriptures say, work out your own soul salvation. Whatever it is you have to do for you, let that be your intent. You have to give grace and compassion to yourself as well, in order for
Mm-hmm.
you to really give it to another. So some people who don't are not able or don't seem capable of extending empathy and grace and compassion to other people, that lets me know what they're doing to themselves. They're beating themselves,
Right.
they're berating themselves, and they're not able to give it to themselves. So it is
Yeah.
projection, and I really will hope to behoove everybody. I know I didn't get to speak as much as I would have liked to, but I
Oh, you
did
doing good.
catch much of what was said even prior to this show, and I want to it behooves everybody to really take the time to work on yourself, to give grace and compassion to yourself, to take your healing, your mental health seriously. And you know what? Never mind everybody else and the haters and what they got to say about you. This is a personal journey, okay? And it doesn't look perfect for
Yeah.
anyone. But I do, and I have
Right.
realized that the people who scream the loudest, that's out there criticizing everybody and got so much to say, they're hiding what's going on within. A lot of times that's their own internal misery that they want to put out to everybody else. So please understand, do not wear anybody else's misery. Okay?
Tiana,
Woo,
are you all right?
let
Don't
it
wear
go.
it.
Are you all right where you
It's
are?
not yours to wear.
You
It's the
good?
Let it
storm.
go.
I'm okay.
It's a storm. How's the
Look,
kids? The
it's a
kids are
storm.
good.
It's been a storm mentally, spiritually,
Look,
physically.
but
Like,
how?
look,
But listen, God got you. How's the
I
babies? They
know it's
making
been
it through?
storming.
they're
It's been
doing
storming
well.
out here too.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I can't wait to come see you guys. But it's storming. It's not raining yet,
But
but
it
the
looks like
wind
it's
is
about to
blowing. The
take.
stop sign
Yeah.
is shaking and everything. But it's
So what
okay.
about the children? Where are they right now?
They're sleeping right now.
Okay.
They're in
And
the
did
car.
they
They're sleeping.
did they fix your
Yes, I just trying to wait before I drive off until we got done with this podcast.
Oh, okay, okay. So we're not gonna be very long. I wanted to say this, ask you this question.
hmm
Because of the years of abuse and the multiple types of abuse that you've had to deal with, how did that affect you in your decision making? For example, for myself, I made a lot of bad choices because I did not know how much harm had been done to me, and this is how my humanity was acting out. I was acting in ways that a church girl should not go in, a form of prostitution and other things that I was doing, promiscuity. Um, what decisions did you make or actions that you took that was a way of not working out, but acting out the pain and not knowing that that's what it was coming from?
Um, when it comes to the abuse that I've experienced, staying silent was definitely one of them. I started to notice that I was protecting my abusers. I was trying to make sure that they wasn't getting in trouble while I was left out in the wilderness. And I just felt like, well, maybe if I would protect this person, then maybe the abuse would stop. Maybe if I show that I am so loving and I am nurturing and I give, they will start to respect me. It don't work like that.
No, it doesn't. You're
It
right.
does not work like that. You have to love yourself enough to walk away, have to love yourself enough to seek help.
Hmm.
And another way was when I started dancing.
Hmm.
Um, I was on exotic dancing to make money so I can make as much money as I could so I can get everything settled
Yeah.
because my main focus was I need to be able to provide. I need to be able to provide. I need to be able to provide. And in that situation, I ended up running back into being sexually assaulted. And I was only, this wasn't even long ago. I was 27 when I was sexually assaulted again.
Jesus.
And
Jesus.
after that, I said, I'm not going back to the club. Like, I was like, I'm not going back.
Mm.
No matter how challenging times may get, I'm not going back. I am a woman who has a college degree. I'm going after my second college degree.
Mm.
I'm a woman who have many years in the medical field. I'm not a
Awesome.
dummy at all. I'm not.
Awesome.
I wasn't just. I didn't look. My background is squeaky clean, but the decisions that I made. Same thing with being male's companions. Like people will sit there and they will judge you for things like this,
Yeah,
but you would
and
get
not
stuck in
know
that
you're
mindset
dealing
of
with
being a
your
victim.
pain. You're right. They don't even know you. This is the way you're dealing with your pain, but they didn't acknowledge your pain to know the pain that you're
Mhm.
going through, and this is why you're acting this way for you.
Yes,
'Cause that's
looking
your only
for
coping mechanism at the
yes,
time.
looking for a man to be able to provide that security and that structure. When, honey, if you ain't get it from your father, it's okay. Your mama wasn't that, it's okay.
God is
You
going
went
to
through
work
so
it
many
out.
battles. Trust me, it's okay. Your strength and your security that comes
Mhm.
from the Lord and it comes from you loving yourself within.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
have to hone in into yourself, build your power up,
Mhm.
and take it back. Lean onto God. I tell people all the time, no
That's
matter
right.
how dark it may be, when you cannot see the light, you lean onto your faith, you lean onto God. In the most challenging times, lean onto God.
Oh yeah.
You might not be in the church all the time and jumping up and down and everything else. You might not be able to speak the gift of tongues. You might not be able to have the gifts that most people do have, but you're still a child of God.
Oh
You
yeah.
still deserve to be loved and protected.
Mhm.
And that means taking yourself out of these situations that's going to put you in more harm's way. Don't put yourself in harm's way trying to get your money or trying to find love or trying to find people to be around you and to make you feel safe. You have to make yourself feel safe. And that means cleaning up the mess, going back and looking at the turmoil that was caused and wiping it all clean.
Mm.
That comes into you praying. There's a prayer closet is real now. And you have to get in there on your knees and you have to cry out to God and you have to just let it go
Right.
and be okay with letting things go. That means even when it comes to the people who you thought that would be in your life forever, let it go.
Yeah.
Would you rather be somebody punching bag for the rest of your life, or would you rather be alive and saved from that situation?
Mm.
Let go the shame, because I was so scared of what people was gonna say. Oh, well, you did this. No, well, you did that, and people already had what they had to say about it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you have to be able to be okay, knowing that you're not the only one.
For sure.
Hello.
You're not the only one that's going through this. Be okay with it and find your tribe. Find people who have been through certain simulations. I ain't saying trauma bond now. I'm just saying find people who has healed from those situations, who have learned the lesson, and they can be able to instill that wisdom back into you.
You know,
Don't hang
Tisha,
out
I
with the
got
same
another
old
question
crowd.
for you. I got another question for you, and I hate to
Hmm.
interject because you going in, baby.
We're good. I'm gonna take a sip
If
of
I
water.
if I was this lady, right? It was this lady we grew up in church, and she used to whine a lot, right? And she used to just be like, "Oh my God, I don't know, this bad happened." What if it's a person who do not know, been through? Because when I hear your story is like numerous abuse
Hmm.
from numerous people. You don't have a small number.
Mm-mm.
I hate that demon of sexual perversion. But listen to this.
I hate it.
So there are women who have been through what you're going have gone through and more, right? And they can't get free in their mind. What would you say to young or old, because there's still older women dealing with the pain of the past? What would you say to them, even at this beautiful age of 28, how they can overcome if they choose to?
It all boils down to making that decision that you no longer want to feel that pain.
That's it.
You have to make
You
the
got to
decision
start
that
with
you're
that.
tired.
Yes.
Let it go. And when I say let it go, I'm not saying hey, I'm tired, I let it go and then it's gone. No.
Mm-mm.
No, it don't work like that.
Work
You have
on
to say I let it go and then
No,
start doing
just
the
handle
healing
it.
process.
Just
That
let
means
it.
journaling. I spent so many nights on posts in front of a lake just crying my eyes out and
it.
just writing out.
Wow.
Let these emotions go. I have
Yeah.
so many videos of where I just recorded, I never posted, and it's just me crying out and just telling what I am tired of going through. It took me years to
Mm.
get to this point. It took me years to get back to who I am within myself.
Wow.
And I'm still learning way more, so much more about
All of
myself.
us. I'm
It
50
doesn't
years
stop.
old. It's still a process.
Exactly. And when you are healing, be okay to know that, hey, one day this pain might come back up. Doesn't mean that you haven't healed from it. It
Hmm.
just it's gonna come back up to make sure you have healed from it.
You better
Learn how to
say that.
learn how to close that door and sit and lock it and sit on it. And while you sit on that door, you pray to God for your strength. You pray to God to take away the pain.
Hmm.
You pray to God to give you the visions that you need in order for you to move forward with your life, in
Yeah.
order for you to see that there's more for your life. You
Hmm.
start to speak life into yourself. I'm a huge believer in standing in front of that mirror and looking at myself dead in my eyes and speaking life. And you speak over your life what it is that you want your life to become. And you don't let nobody tell you that you can't make it out of the things that you have been through, because you can. There's power and strength within you. You have to just
Ooh.
utilize it. Use your tongue. Don't get caught up into what everybody else is telling you. Not everybody healing experience is going to be the same,
It's
but
not.
still go to therapy. If you don't have the money to go to therapy, find someone who you can trust,
Mm.
who can actually steal that wisdom back into you. They need to be able to speak life into you. Get
Mm.
away from the people who don't want to do that for you. The people who
Yeah.
bring you back down, you get clear away from them. Even if it's your own family. I've cut family off
Mm.
so many times. I'm like, look, I don't like where this is going. I gotta go. And you go heal within yourself and you
Hmm.
come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And family gonna love you regardless.
Oh yeah. Go ahead,
So I
Deborah.
tell everyone, just start.
Well, I want to ask a question.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
I'm
Am I
listening.
over? Am I overlapping anyone?
No, you're
Can
good.
everybody hear me?
You're on point when you ask. You're on point.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to ask a question, and I know you touched on it. You touched on it a few times, but I am absolutely amazed by you because I know you personally, and I'm just like, every time I hear your story, I'm just like, I'm so in awe of the miracle that is you. With all of the things that you have encountered from the beginning, from toddler, I mean, from being a toddler and not feeling covered and not being protected, and then to be in a situation where you did enter into a marriage and you spoke about some of the things with that. I want to know, what did you tap into? How did you muster up the strength to break away from that cycle of abuse when it had always been persistent in your life? What did you tap into? How did you muster this phenomenal being that stands in front of us, that is a mover and a shaker, that is a beautiful spirit, that is contributing to the world, that is working on yourself diligently, that is raising your beautiful boys? Where did it come from? And let me know. I need to know.
Come on, come on.
My boys, I had to look at the example that I did not have growing up, and I had to tell myself they will not grow up to be men like that. And I had to show them how to be around the right women, and that starts with me. I don't want them to think that that's okay because it's not okay at all. And honestly, that night when I had that gun held up to my face, I said, "Oh no, this is it. I am done. I have to leave this marriage." It's so much stuff that was just coming back and just feeling like, okay, it's either you leave now and you never leave back, and you leave without having anything. And I left with nothing besides the bed that I
That was the
brought.
line.
I left with just a little bit of stuff, and I took my kids and I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, yeah.
You just have to leave. Don't like not. I remember planning so many times how I was going to leave in Colorado, but when I came back to Georgia, and I knew I was around that support. Even when I didn't have that support, I was tired. You're
Mm,
gonna get tired enough of being somebody's punching bag. You're gonna get tired enough of fighting if you're gonna be alive one day or if you're not. You're gonna get tired.
yeah.
And when you get tired, you just leave. Don't worry about what people gonna say, how you gonna look, how you gonna get certain things. Just go. There's
Go.
shelters out here who will take you in.
Yeah.
There's friends. There's
Mm-hmm.
church members. There's
Mm-hmm.
even churches. If you don't even have a church, they'll
Right.
take you in. Somebody who have a heart and who God sees that you need help, they will take over and they will step in. They will intervene. That is God intervening into your situation, and you allow God to work
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and leave. Don't stay
Mm-hmm.
in no situation like that. Nobody deserves to be treated like that
Right.
at all,
Right.
whatsoever. You must leave the situation. It's not about, oh, well, you're a victim, you acting like a victim. It's not about that. You're trying to survive. So that means you need to leave and find help.
Right. Right. Right.
Just
So
go.
Exactly.
I don't know who this is for. Just go, please.
just go.
Just
You know what,
go.
Yeah.
girl? You better
Thank
set
you for
the
that.
time
Thank you
straight.
so
That
much
part, like, I
because
just said,
I
just
was thinking about the
go.
women. Yes, we will.
I
Go
see
ahead.
someone said that
Yeah, I'm thinking about the traditions of the past and culture and how, a lot of people were so intent on keeping the family together.
not me. Oh, not me. I told my therapist, I said, oh, no, baby. She's like, oh, it's just the hormones. You're pregnant. I said, oh, no, ma'am. Once I have this baby, I am out of here. Like, it's not about that. Like, I get it. Trust me. I would love to be married again and have a family and everything. However, it has to be, ooh,
You
the,
know the signs now. This is one thing
The
that's
right
in my book,
conditions, under
generational
the right
curses.
conditions.
We talk about generational curses. We have to be proactive in the fact that we know that generational curses exist
mm-hmm,
and existed. And we have to be intentional about defeating and not replicating the same past. If you see signs of what you've experienced before, then you set in your mind, like you know, Tiana, we talked about this. You set in the mind in your mind that I'm not only gonna be very careful about who come in my life, they gotta be ready before they even see my children.
That
Let me
part.
tell you why, because if those children get attached to an individual, and that individual says, "Yes, I do" to you,
Mhm.
and then he changes into to a crazy, deranged individual when you're married.
Mhm.
Because you didn't do the right steps for you and them. Because a
It
lot of
falls.
times, I'm gonna be real. My mama did it. My mama, like Deborah said, the family was so important to her. So no matter what he did,
And there's
she
some history behind that because she didn't have that family for herself.
so
Yeah.
they hold on to that
There's some history
whatever
behind that. And
idea.
there's like the
Yeah.
psychological thing with that.
Right. I know it's a lag. That's why you're hearing it like that. Yeah, it's a little hard right this second.
Yeah, there is a lag for sure. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me or
Oh,
not?
we can
You
hear
can you hear
you.
me?
We can hear you on time. It's that you're not hearing us on the right timing and responding on the timing. But it's all right. I want you to read Deborah Khadijah's response at 7:32 in the chat. Would you like to do that?
The 832 one.
Say that again.
8:32, 7:32. I want you to read Khadijah's response in the chat. Can you hear me? Uh-oh, you can't hear me. And this is bad. Okay, so I'll do it. I'll do it. She might start reading, right? When I
Okay,
start
would you
reading?
like me to read the comments?
Yes, yes.
I got it. I got it.
We gotta laugh at this, y'all. You can't get. We
Okay.
can't get frustrated with this.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is. I'm still here though. I'm doing the best that I can for real. And that's
Yes.
one of the things I wanted to say. If I have everybody's attention and I'm not talking over anybody, I would like to say that there is a history to why people do some of the things they do. There's reasons. And, it was a different generation at that time. But, my mother, just to speak for her situation, and rewinding a little bit, she was trying to create the family and she wanted to create the family that she never had, right? So that was her major focus. And then different things with church and culture and community kind of kept her bound in that situation. And it's refreshing to hear that no matter what, we're in a new generation now where people say, you know what, my life is not only tied to my decisions and the mates that I've picked, that I've chosen, my safety, my personal autonomy, my sense of sanity, my self love, that's going to whatever image I need to project and whatever else anybody may think about me keeping my family together. But my safety, my sanity, my spirit, my life, my children, all these other reasons is going to precede that anything else in regards to culture and tradition. So I just wanted to point that out, it shows that there's a mind shift going on, and that's something that we could look forward to. So thank you for pointing that out. It's a whole different way of thinking now. So
Oh, yeah.
that's a liberated way of thinking, and I want to commend you for that. But I'm gonna read this comment here from, I call her Renee. This is like, she like my family, okay? But Khadijah, it was the force and shame of denying the existence of my femininity as a young girl, the labels put on me, being shunned, causing me to adapt to a more masculine energy to protect myself, which also brought on more issues for me, which in turn caused me to feel trapped. So I became more distant from family. And so she was telling about her story. I then adapted alcohol for my grief. So
Wow.
that was one
Wow.
of the
Wow.
outlets, and the way that what
Damn.
she's explaining is what one thing led to the other. So let's unpack
Yeah.
that. Let's unpack
Yeah.
Yep.
that
Yeah.
Okay. I can.
Addictions.
because
Yes.
she
Addictions
didn't
come
feel
up out of
Thank
protected.
this.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. So
And
you
then
run
she
to things.
gotta put this facade up, it appears, of more masculinity, because she had to put her dukes up and fighting through it sounds like it. And then people question her femininity because of it. Am I gathering that correctly? the way it's written. That's
That's
what.
that's what I perceived because
And she
I
didn't feel
understood when she
protected.
said
Yeah,
that
that's pretty much.
there was the shame in the
Mhm.
night of her femininity. Like you have to be so on guard. You like you
Yeah,
said, ready to fight. Somebody says something to you, you quit popping off. You full
yeah,
of fire.
yeah.
You got pain inside. And that's okay for people to look at you and to shame you. Like it's let them do what they do. People gonna do what they want to do. They gonna say whatever it is they want to say about you. You have to know what is the truth within yourself.
Right, right, right,
Once
right.
you know who you are within yourself, you know your truth, you know what happened to you.
Hmm.
You don't have to sit there and fight. You don't have to go back and forth. You can let them people try to attack you all you want. Just don't say nothing to them
Oh yeah.
because you know where you're walking. You know what you're called to do. People
Right.
was lie on your girl. Let me tell you, I have my name lied on, name being slandered, pictures of my YouTube videos taken, and people talking about me on their page and stuff. I have been through the most, so I understand where you're coming from when people try to shame you and they don't
Yeah.
even understand. They're not even trying to understand, and that's what you have to realize. They're not trying to understand where you're coming from. They are just being quick to judge.
Right.
And like you said, Deborah, it's because they are running away from the things that they need to heal within themselves.
Themselves.
Once you realize that, you are it's good for you
Their
to just
own
move on.
work.
Like, all right, girl. Bye, girl. I
Right.
see what you're doing. Okay, cool.
Right.
But
Right.
I do understand feeling that trap, feeling like you don't have no one to go to. You feel like you can't even go to your own family.
So she got
Ooh,
some more. Deborah, go ahead, Deborah.
girl, that part right
You
there.
can read that.
Jesus. She just spoke some words
Yes.
right there. 'Cause I've been
Yeah,
there before.
that's real deep. I mean, that's deep. I mean, whew.
Oh, I was told
So she
that.
said being validated sexually as a young girl and being told that it's your fault that you're
Hmm.
fresh and hot and a hot ass down things in of that nature caused my mental
Woo.
to shift. So yeah, I've actually heard that, and this is
Hmm.
something that I've observed even when I was younger. Like anytime something would happen to a little girl, they would say she's fresh or something. I mean, even the R. Kelly thing where he raped and molested so many young girls, and people still said them little girl. It was a 14-year-old when the video was released, and people still said that them girls was fresh. They shouldn't have been around him. They shouldn't have been dressing like that. Like people always projected it onto the victim,
Right.
You got to look
always
at what
blame
the
the victim, and
parents.
that's something that has to stop. That's why I always mention the word
Oh,
accountability.
Right.
Accountability. And T, you did a video or a little commercial a little while back, and it really struck me because you said, sure, we have to put emphasis on forgiving, and we know that it's important to forgive. You forgive for yourself, but what about the person who actually committed the offense? What is expected of them? Is there anything that they have to do? Is there any accountability? Is there any amends? Is there anybody that's going to stand up and say, you know what? And that's one of the reasons why we're here. We're finding that it's challenging to even get the leaders in the church to put any
True.
accountability on the people who've actually committed the offense. We
Right.
that
talk to
part.
them and they say, what do you want? You think we're going to make them go to jail or something? They think we want
I
to
mean, why not?
make them go to
That's
jail.
their
It's not about that.
question.
It's
But
something
see,
that's so
here's the
much bigger than
thing.
that.
I mean, still, you can go to jail and have and talk to a therapist in jail. I just feel like people
Well,
shouldn't
they
keep getting
committed
away with it.
crime, so jail is the consequence of committing crime.
Exactly. Instead of
Right.
you just being like, oh, but they're a leader of this and this and that. I don't care what they are.
Exactly.
I don't care if you Osama bin Laden. I don't care who you are. You could be Obama. If you did a crime, you deserve to.
To
You
do
deserve to
time.
have your
You need to do
consequences.
something.
You cannot keep
Listen.
getting away with stuff just
But the
because of your
thing is that
title.
they're more concerned with protecting the adults. They're more concerned with protecting adults than children.
But
That's
your
how I
children
see it.
are
I've
the
seen it
ones who
as a
are going to be
child. That was my
raising you
perception. I'm like,
when
this
you
is
get
so weird.
older. And that's the part. My apologies for over talking, but that upsets me because I keep telling people when we get old and gray, the kids are going to be the one that's taking care of us. And the last thing I want is somebody who I wronged as a child to be taking care of me when I'm sick and I need their help. Just think about that for a
Mm.
second.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, y'all. I use comedy for a lot of stuff because I have to allow some of this stuff off
And I
because
think it's
it
also
makes
about
no
the fact
sense.
that children can't protect themselves.
It made no sense for you to blame a child. A child is a child. What do you expect? You are an adult. Take accountability, step up and rise to the occasion and protect the child. Stop using that as an excuse. That's not an excuse no more. It never was one. It was just accepted by society. It's not accepted no more. That's out.
I want to
Yeah, and
take
I'm
a moment.
sorry that that was said to you, Khadija. Sorry about that. That's heavy. That's a heavy, heavy, heavy topic right there because we can actually sit there just for a moment with that. That's a poisonous mentality. It
Yes, it
shifts
is.
the blame on the victim. It's victim blaming and
Yes,
it's victim shaming, and that has been normalized in our society, in our culture to do that. That's why those young girls were degraded when R. Kelly was exposed. That's exactly the same poison that allows the grandmothers, the aunties and uncles, or whomever to call their victim of sexual abuse and violation. Can we stop that? Let's talk about generational curses. Can we stop that curse?
Mm.
Stop cursing our children. Stop cursing these
that part.
children and blaming victims for the things that have happened to them. That is something we can all
Ignoring the
work on
evidence
together and
because you
check
don't want to
ourselves
see
because,
it.
like, we don't even, yeah,
My apologies. Because people, they just ignore the evidence. The evidence is right there. You can have it black and white on paper, and they will refuse to look at it. Why? Because that's my man. I love him. That's
Mm.
my husband. I love him.
You
If
guys,
you don't sit your behind down somewhere,
I
because if it
just
happens to your child, then you're gonna be looking crazy.
I just figured out how to play the video. Can we just let this video be played real quick? Do we have a
Yeah,
moment or
let the
no?
video play. I need to calm down for a second. My apologies, y'all.
I know. Listen, that way, you hear so many other stories. It's something, but I think I have a way to fix the volume so that you guys can hear it. But let's try that one more time. I'm just going to open up for everything now. I'm gonna let it pause right here,
yeah, that was an
and I
intense
want
one right there.
yeah, yeah. So now we're gonna share my screen real quick, and then they're telling me how to fix the sound. Let's see what happens. Just give me a second. You guys can talk a little bit while I do this, if you don't mind. Okay.
Yeah, but I do understand where you're coming from, Khadijah, because I remember being in church and being shamed in front of the congregation because I just wore a skirt, and I was accused of trying to tempt all the men in the congregation just because I wore a skirt.
Yeah. That's
You
that's
gotta people, you gotta stop doing stuff like that. That run people out of the church. It runs you away from your family. It's unacceptable. You can't keep doing that.
right. I know that's right. I agree with that. Y'all give me just a moment. So I'm sharing my screen, right?
You're absolutely right.
Um,
Absolutely right.
let's give me one more second. Share screen button and pop up. Use Chrome tab. It says Chrome tab, but it's
I
not coming up.
definitely
If it
agree,
doesn't work,
Tiana. That has to
if
stop.
if it doesn't work this time, guys, we're just gonna put it back up. But because I don't see what they're talking about. Oh, here it is. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
That's a very
Um,
nice video.
huh?
You did a really good job putting this video together.
I just wanted to play. If I could just get it to play, because they gave me directions on how to do it. It's just that when you learn all this stuff, and I did it yesterday, but it was guess what? That's because we did it in what Zoom, which is a total different thing. Share screen button and the pop up choose. There is nothing to choose. They tell me a pop up, but let's see one more time. Come on, y'all. Share screen. It's not allowing me to share. Let's see. In setting, maybe in settings it's there, and it's not allowing me. I don't know, guys. It's just not as easy as the Zoom one. So let's see if this works.
Well, T, maybe we could just stay in the vein because right now we do have some interaction here.
We have some more.
Where Khadija
Go ahead.
still, we just probably could just stay with this topic going while you work
Mhm.
on that in the background.
That
Yeah.
is wow.
All right. So I'm gonna let's see if we can do it this way. I'm gonna let it play. Let's see if we can play. Tell me what y'all hear. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't know what to do. Can y'all see it? You play it. But you said you can't hear it, right?
It's the volume is low in the video, but we see
That's
the video playing.
there. So I'll stop sharing it. What I'm gonna basically let's talk about the video real quick. I know you want to go to the comments, but real quick, I want to just give you an idea. Did y'all know that Donna Summer was raped and molested by her pastor as a little girl through church? And a lot of people used to look at her and think she was like this sexual deviant, this sexual, crazy, sex crazed female because the song she used to sing was, "I love, wait, what? I love you, baby." Y'all remember that song? Is that familiar to y'all?
The one that Beyonce remixed,
Yeah,
"Love to Love You, Baby."
well, I guess that's what it's love to love. But I never really looked into
Yeah.
her song. But I do know that song is sort of familiar, and plus, it was around the disco times, right? But she's an example of her daughters are doing a beautiful job of helping people to understand her life and everything. The decision she made was based on a lot of the pain that she suffered from being raped and molested by her pastor during her life. The next one we was talking about, the next part of the video, there's just churches and different pastors that we found reports on that have had 20, 30, 40 years in the ministry and have been raping and molesting teenage girls and little boys and teenage boys. And what I really wish that I can fix this issue, and I'm going to go and talk to the company that we work with to get our lives up, but I'm getting to the point where I just want to be able to show those type of videos, because those type of videos give you more than just my story, give you more than just Tim's story or any of our guests that come on. This thing is bigger than just a few people isolated in situations. No smaller. Watch this. In the black church, sexual abuse is no smaller. Watch this. We'll pray she get back in. But sexual abuse is no smaller in the Catholic Church. It's at the same height in the black church. The only problem with the black church, we keep our mouths more closed and we don't really have things in place to combat the what ifs, to combat what can happen to a child in our church, or to have policies and procedures and protocols in place so that you'll have things on hand and ready to not only believe and trust that this child or adult who's been violated is telling you the truth, but you're now in these days, you're obligated to believe them first, then report it. A lot of people think that that's only for only for like teachers or for people in professional settings. They think that the church don't have to be as held accountable. But I'm so sorry. Don't misunderstand this thing. You are held accountable for the knowledge you have in your church, because once they find you, you will have the example of what? Hillsong. 4 years ago, Hillsong was completely sued because their father is dead, but the father of the pastor of Hillsong been raping and molesting little boys for years. And then in the 1990s, they decided to sit their father down. When they sit their father down, they thought it was over. Now, the whole church is being sued and the son because he knew it, and the state had proof that he knew what his father had done to those boys. Now, believe it or not, people that's in leadership, y'all, I see you pass my page. I see that you make a comment here or two. But the problem is, you have a church, you have a place of worship. Are you putting things in place to make certain that you know a system is in place that your church can follow even if you're not present? You'll know that your deacons and your leaders and your elders know that this is protocol when the report is brought to you. These victims have been ignored for far too long, and I believe that God is ready to put the body of Christ in order. You can't tell me that you can use the law, that you don't have to deal with those issues with the law. That's a lie. That is a violation. That is a sin against God, sin against children. And I can give you scriptures that Jesus said, don't you mess with them children. And not only that, It's sin against the kingdom of God because it says this is how we deal with sin. We'll take a rug and sweep your garbage under the rug, and we'll make sure the pastor don't get caught, the minister don't get caught. And then what we'll do is we'll sit them down for a minute because they're getting a little spiritual punishment. And then we're going to let that kid see that pastor up there preaching and teaching every day, tormenting that kid, just saying they're not going to do nothing. They don't care. They don't care that I've been abused. They don't care that I'm sexually misused. They don't care for the things that's happened to me. But you got this man. Literally, we had a guest on our show. Remember, Deborah? The guest said she would see the pastor preach and do all these wonderful
Yep.
things, but he was raping and molesting her, and everybody would praise him. Is that godly? Does that stand for righteousness' sake? And you are a part of the problem when
Yeah.
you don't
That's
report it.
I mean, that's really like time out.
You are part of the problem when you don't
It's
report
really
it. You
time
are
out
part of
for
the
it. And I'm
yeah.
it,
You,
absolutely.
you, you're no better than the culprit. Well, do you disagree with that? I think you're no better than the culprit. What's your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. And I actually had quoted somebody a few episodes back, Martin Luther King, and it was said by a couple other people, but it was talking about indifference and apathy. Like when you are indifferent to a situation, you are no like like my sister just said, you are basically culpable. You're one of the people that is turning a blind eye to stuff. So you're actually a participant in what's going on. Because even scriptures say much known, much required, little known, little required. You have a lot of people who are aware that this is going on and turn a deaf ear or a blind eye to it. And the thing is that we can't save the world, but in this little small space of what matters to us in our world, in our community, in our surroundings, we want it to stop. We want the children to stop suffering. We want people to stop being victimized and in secret corners. You know, they're over here praying and preaching to everybody else and laying hands on everybody and molesting children in the back of the church. Like, at some point, there has to be a stand taken or it's not going to end. Like, it's just not. If everybody doesn't come together so we can do something different, this is going to continue. And God forbid your grandchildren, your great grands, or whoever else is coming will be affected just all the same. We have to be a part of the solution. We have to be intentional and make a conscious choice of being a part of the solution, not just saying, oh, yeah, they right. Listen, if you are in a place of leadership, impact, influence, and power, we would hope that you are compelled to one day see how we can help, how our platform can help you to not only, restore your congregation. That's on the back end of things. You can restore membership because people are church hurt. Let's talk about church hurt. That's another story. But
Uh-huh.
before then, what can we do to make sure that the church is an actual safe haven? Like, we went to a church that's called Citadel of Hope Mission, a church that we were raised in. And
Which
Citadel means
means
refuge, right? That's what the word Citadel means, refuge.
okay.
Okay, so we
Uh-huh.
came there for that type of protection. And that's not actually what happened.
Right.
Aside from the fact that we did form and we have relationships and bonds with people that we appreciate, there was a whole bunch of mess going on in the mix under the guise of being so spiritually profound and so spiritually gifted and called. Under the guise of that, there was children that were being harmed, abused, molested, and this has to end. And I want to make an appeal to the leaders because like T said, she said it a little earlier. We know you're passing the page. We know you're seeing stuff. Sometimes you're liking things. We have a huge church network. We've grown together. We've fellowship together. We've celebrated milestones together. That's all the fun stuff.
Right.
We need your support. These children need your support for something that might look a little ugly and not as becoming or not as cute or not as
Uh-huh.
fun or not as festive. When it really comes down to doing the work, it's not going to always look so appealing.
Right.
But there's something that's so much bigger than us that we right now have decided to take it on. And we would love the support of the church leaders who have these titles, who have this impact and this influence to please join the ranks and try T. Reach out to T And there's several ways that you can be a participant in helping make this situation better for us for now and going forward. So I just want to say, please listen to what's going on and see what's going on today. And you
Right.
can watch all of these different clips that T has referred to, and you will be able to find the truth and validity behind her findings. The research is showing that now they are cracking down. People are being exposed, and there's people telling their story. And even Khadijah right here, I'm going to read this comment real quick.
Mm-hmm.
She said, there is a movie by Spike Lee that really didn't get much recognition, unfortunately, but it's based on a pastor who's been molesting young boys in the church. And as an adult, the young man returns and confronts the pastor openly in front of the congregation. The movie is called Red Hook Summer. I've never heard of it, and I consider
Me
myself a Spike
either.
Lee fan. So thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. So that's something I'm going to go ahead and watch because I've never heard of anything like that. And I thought I watched every Spike Lee movie. But thank you for sharing that, Khadijah. I'm actually going to pin that comment because I don't think I'm alone in saying that I didn't know anything about that. Um,
You
so
know,
yeah, I mean that's me on my soapbox. I just want to say there is so much going on right now. Please pay attention. That's it. Pay attention.
and I just thank you for that, Deborah. And I agree with Khadijah. I had someone give me a call today in the midst of the difficult day that we had, and while I had them give me a call, and they were asking me about the type of business, because I get people to call me from all across the America and inquiring of what we actually stand for. And this man, he was so broken when I began to tell him what we stand for and who we're after helping. And I said, yes, we're coming for the victims. Oh yeah, we want to help the victims. But it's not just about the victims. It's about preventing more victims. So how do you handle preventing more victims? You go to the leaders, the ones who are the decision makers. Now, you help them put programs in place so that they will not be unprepared for that fateful day. Why we say fateful day? Because can I be honest with you? It's probably happening in your church, and the reason why you don't know about it is because you're not inquiring. He asked me, he said, how do you approach the pastors? You just trying to get them inducted into your program? I said, no, I just want them to do an evaluation. And guess what? I'm going to tell you about what I do. You ready for this? I don't care who gets this information, but I hope you call me to help you with it. I'm going to take you first and ask all the pastors, have you sat down with your entire immediate family and sat with your family and asked which one of them has ever been violated by anybody that has ever been in any church service, any church pastor leadership, any conference, anything you've ever been? Has anyone, I don't care how old, ever violated you in these type of settings? I did that to one pastor. He sat back. I said, have you ever did that to your family? Just sat down with everybody and said, let's talk. He said, no. Have you ever thought to do that? No. So we're literally waiting for our children to come and tell us the story. And most of the time, children do not report to you the stories until they're 20, 30 years old, and you're wondering why they're drinking so much. You're wondering why they stuck on alcohol. You're wondering why they have so many issues because no one considered or discerned in the home what was necessary in their children right there. Just like Eli, the priest, who was helping everybody else, but his sons was perverted and sexual all around and tearing up those girls, and they was doing so much sexual harm that God said, you know what, you haven't even fixed your home yet. So how in the world you going to take care of the house of God when you don't even know if anything's occurred in your home? uh I have someone calling me. Let me just pause this real quick because I don't know how
It
important this
starts in the
was.
home.
Yeah, it starts in the home.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it starts in the home, and that translates to a lot of different parts of life. Like, I mean, sometimes we just jump over like the first steps that we have to take. You know, the very first, the root of getting to the root of it means that, you know, let's address what's right in front of us. And once you can work that out, you know, and she has a whole course and a consultation and so many other things that can be advantageous for you to even help you through that process of talking to your family, you know, of being able to address certain things. If you need the help and the moral support, we are here for you. Like, we're not just here when everybody's not here. It's not a witch hunt and we're just wagging fingers. We're trying to figure out whatever we can do to help, and so that this generational curse, it is absolutely no more, you know. So in that situation, suppose you may not know how to unravel what happened in your family, don't kick your back in. The fact that you're even concerned about that, and now you have a raised eyebrow and a light bulb that says, you know what, they're right, I haven't done that. So we're not, this is not a condemnation part. This is the part to say accountability. Wait a minute. I understand, I acknowledge. And so they are providing a possible resource. Let me reach out to Elder LaNier-Mckinnie. Let me reach out to her. She's certified in a trauma abuse counselor. Deborah certified trauma abuse counselor. They have experience with people. I've been a mentor for a couple of decades. Let's figure it out together, and we're willing to help hold your hand through that process. So, but
Uh-huh.
we know starting at home is pivotal, right? Because
Right.
you get that part
Hmm.
right, get your foundation right, and
Right.
allow that to get a building block where you could build off of to help the next group of importance, right? Your family is first. God and family is first. Once we get that and we got that cleared, a weight off our shoulders, we have a template to go off of to duplicate for the other groups that matter. Our congregations, our larger families, our extended families, our community, our churches. Like, there's so much going on, and we have to start with ourselves. We start with
Right.
ourselves, we start with our families, and then we allow that to take us the rest of the way. So I definitely thank you for pointing that out, T. That was something I wanted to elaborate on.
You know, because I
Thank you for
think,
rejoining, Tiana. I know you said you had to break for a while. We're so happy to see you back, hon.
Yeah, sorry, I had to come home and it's starting to pour down. I was like, wait a minute now.
long as you are right, you look beautiful. Hey, handsome.
Say hi. Hi,
we,
mom.
we,
Right.
hi, gorgeous. So I just want to say this real quickly. There are some great fears out there, and
Mhm.
the fears are my church will be under scrutiny. My church will be the church that people will talk against. And, you know, they're afraid. It's a lot of reserves in the hearts of leaders. And some of them don't feel it's necessary. Some of them feel like I got it. Some of them feel like we've been had stuff in order. But guess what? What other church are you helping to get it in order? Why am I asking this? Because in my research, I've noticed that the Seventh Day Adventist Church, they have they bring together all of their churches and pastors and their leaders, and they put a strategic formula in place for everyone to follow, and they have to report to a specific individual once they get information, so that they relay the information. They start the system where they make sure things were followed in the policies and procedures. And the problem is, a lot of churches don't have policies for specific policies and procedures in place. And can I say this to you? We have our policy and procedures, and we do them for churches so that they'll be able to have everything customized to their church. But we create policies and procedures specifically against sexual abuse and the actions that will be taken. God forbid that situation arises. Then we also put formulas in place and programs in place where you have a strategy to make certain that your children are being monitored. We have a church church nature, and our church nature is to let our children run because it's the church. Deborah, you want to speak more to that? You, you want to speak more to that, Deborah?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, good, good. Yeah, I definitely do want to speak to that because that's something we've talked about, and I speak about it with great conviction. Because, yeah, we had not much freedom in general. We were raised very strict. We couldn't be around certain people, couldn't be around anybody but family, except when it came to the church folk. We could be around the church folk at all any given time. You know, for the shut-ins overnight, they take us away to amusement park or for the boys that Pastor William Barnett. He would take the boys to Poconos and everything like that for the weekend, and they go in the cabins and everything. And this is the type of stuff. And then one of the perverts, so I'm sorry, the pedophiles that was around us, little Derek, Elder Derek White, who was a supposed music teacher at the academy we went to. He liked to take the little girls places. He took us to the beach. He took us anywhere. You know, he played in the snow with us. We were allowed to be with anybody as long as they had a title in the church, but we couldn't be with anybody else, not anybody in the world or any neighbors, anything like that. But the trust was ridiculous. It was not earned. It was not earned. I'm not saying that nobody's worthy of trust, but they did not earn the trust. It was just by the sake of the matter of them having title or being in the church. So that's
Yeah.
something needs to happen with that. And T can tell you about the regulations and things that we can put in place. But there needs to be a vetting process. You have just people,
Yes.
just random strangers, really, when it comes down to it.
And
That
we have
people,
a
these
system
kids are
for
just
that.
allowed to just be around at any given time.
Yeah.
And so there's something in place for that, so that you it can be regulated, and these people can be vetted. Like, just like anything else, when you call or you hire an attorney, you know what I'm saying, you take the time to make sure they have credentials, like you want to look them up. But when it comes to a child and being in a church, there's no vetting process. There's no due diligence. There's no qualifications. All of that is out the window. But you won't even go to get your hair done at a place unless you know this person knows how to do hair and somebody referred them, and you'll go. But yet but children are allowed to be in the spaces with people alone just because they are children. So that needs to stop.
We missed that last part, Deborah. I don't know if you got that, but we missed that last part.
Yeah, I was saying that I said that there's a lot of things that people put in place to ensure that they have the right professional to handle whatever job needs to be done in
Hmm.
any given aspect of their life. But when it comes to church, then there's no vetting. There's that's not,
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
do the same, they don't take the
There's no
same steps.
process,
So there needs to be emphasis on that. And you can elaborate on
especially
some of those protocols, T, because people don't
especially
know
with the youth part,
that
Deborah.
there's other denominations that already have that in place.
Right. Especially with the youth part, you have to be more. And we're gonna have to shut it down in just a moment because I think Tiana said she had to go to work, and we didn't took her time. I want her to tell me a little bit about some of the
Yeah, I
projects
didn't
she's
call down
working
for work.
on. But Deborah, in regards to what you just said,
Oh
especially
no.
when it comes to working with children, children should have those people be vetted. You should not allow your child to be around people who just walked in the church and said, "Oh, I want to be a part of the youth ministry," and then now you got a predator, and you can't really see a predator because they don't really reveal to you who they
I
are.
mean,
But
they can still
eventually, a
family.
child can, if you've already prepared those children to know. But if you had done the homework first, given that person, the Bible says, like you said today, Deborah, try the spirit by the spirit. If that person only been in the church for a few months and you've not
Mhm.
looked at their back, not done a reference, not done anything, because they're going to say they just now became an ordained minister in the matter of a year because they've been on fire for Jesus. Do you know where this person is coming from? And all they need is a little bit of time to really get in the right position with the right little kid, the most vulnerable person, and be able to get in there with that child. And we're being so oblivious to the tactics of the enemy. We
Especially
have,
because children are sponges, man. Ooh, it's so
yeah,
easy to twist up a child's mind. Like you said, it
yes,
just takes being able to groom. I don't know how many stories I've heard about young women. I was one of them
yeah,
being groomed by
yeah,
older men to be
yeah,
exactly what they want. If you don't
exactly.
pay attention to that,
And young boys too.
Oh, yes,
Yep,
Lord. And
young
the sad thing about it
predators
is
too as well.
the,
And
the sad thing.
we know because yeah, we have people that we know personally that have experienced the same thing. And that's the thing. I'm starting to believe, and I've believed this for a while. I do believe that some people seek out the church specifically so that they can be able to be unhinged with their pedophilia. Like they don't
Right.
have to worry about consequence. So let's suppose there are people in the world who are calculating. There are
Mhm,
people in the world who do not have the best intentions. Let's
mhm,
suppose, let's suppose that Elder Derek White, right? When he decided he wanted to be not only a minister of music, but he wanted to work at a private school with children. Let's suppose, what if he said in his mind, you know what? The best way for me to be able to live out my desires is to do it in church because there's no consequence. What do we say about that?
Listen, he said that in his actions, if I'm understanding where you're coming from with your question. That is
That
something
is a
so.
possibility because
Well, see,
people
I think
somehow
that,
think that people are innocent and they don't, it doesn't even occur to them.
right. And here's the thing, a predator is so good at what they do that their gifts is in front of them, and you're looking at the shininess of their gifts. And you're not paying attention to the signs of that demonic spirit that's behind them. We have to be very, very proactive in that way as the body of Christ. And I want to say, let's put a pause right here. Ladies, I thank you so much for the amazing, amazing platform
Hmm.
that you created with us tonight. I will say this, Tiana, I just want you to elaborate on your next projects, what you're working with, your anticipation in moving in the area of, I think you said you were interested in doing like abuse. I'm not really sure. I think you said something, but give me anything you want to tell us what you're working on and all that stuff and what you've acted in. Anything you want to elaborate.
That's
Now,
right.
this is the fun part. This is the fun part.
okay. So right now I am working on bringing back my
Mm.
YouTube channel. And with that, I want to start doing daily discussions, if not weekly discussions. I feel like weekly discussion is more realistic for me. Weekly discussion based on the things that I am currently healing through, just being open and honest with everyone. So that way they can start being able to come in and they feel like they have somewhere that's safe as well.
Awesome.
Not only that, but also using my modeling and acting platforms to bring awareness to these situations. So hopefully being able to use those platforms and say, hey, yes, even though I model, even though I act, this is what I have been through, and let me bring awareness to you. So if there's a director or someone who has a story that they need someone to act in, that's something I can tune in and tap into. But not only that, but being a model, yeah, you're a model, but there's way much more to me. So
Mm-hmm.
my whole thing right now is just reaching back into my community and reaching back into the youth and giving that wisdom to them,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the young men, especially with our youth, because they need that. They need someone to who can relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot of young women who look just like me and they're afraid to use their voice and speak up to what's going on.
Right.
And I need everyone to know that it's okay for you to come out in the open and tell your truth. But the
Yes.
only thing, but the things that I do have going on is just filming. I have a fashion show that's coming up in September,
Okay.
and I'm excited. I have a
Awesome.
lot of things that's lined up for me that I cannot speak on at all.
It's all right. It's
But
all right. We appreciate you telling us that much.
yes,
We
ma'am.
do. I have one more question. Now, I
Hmm.
Thank you
want
for
you to
sharing that.
elaborate. Yes, thank you so much. And if you
Thank
want
you for
to add
allowing me
more,
to.
If you want to add more, you can add more. But I want you to tell us a little bit because we're going to pray. Um, Miss Tiana's had some situations. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But I want her to let you know. But I think that it's imperative for us to understand that the enemy does not like when change come to you and you finally decided that you've had enough. And in the midst of Miss Tiana's beautiful testimony, it doesn't mean the enemy is still not trying to fight her. She has been estranged from her husband, but there's some difficulties. And I want to say this to you. If there's any of our friends that see this beautiful podcast and want to give her some legal advice and other things that she would probably want to elaborate, even if you don't tell the details, but I would love for you to tell them because I want people that's seeing this video to know it ain't over until God says it's over. And even though we can be telling about our victories, it doesn't mean we're not still fighting a battle. Ah, come on. Go ahead, baby.
There's um
You don't have to go to
okay,
details.
so due to legal reasons, I cannot go in detail like I did when I was talking to you guys off of the camera. But I don't have a lawyer, and I am representing myself tomorrow in court.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was afraid, but then I had to sit back down. I had to look at everything that I had going on and be like, okay, you're ready for this. Because I know without a shadow of doubt in my mind, it's, oof, I know without a shadow of doubt in my mind, like it has to go right. It has to be corrected. The truth it has to come out because it's not okay for certain things to keep going on. At first, I was trying to raise money to get another lawyer. But at this point, I really do just need the legal advice from paralegals and other lawyers who work in the family division to be able to tell me, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to make sure that you have because there's some shadiness that is going on with this case.
Yeah.
And I am a huge person for like let's bring justice to the unjust. That is how I am. And I feel like if you're going to be representing someone, you need to do it the right way. You don't have to be corrupted, but there's a lot of corruption that's going on. And honestly, T, God got it.
He has to. Let me tell you why.
I'm
The
so calm with
fight
it. I
was
know God
so
got it.
I do believe
tremendous
and do
today.
believe
The fight was so tremendous
God got
today,
you.
which means on the other
God got it.
side of through, there's
Daddy
victory for
said no,
you.
he's not gonna help me on this.
My
Okay. I love the
Hi,
baby.
Eli.
But the fight was so intense. That's when you know
Hi,
this is a
Eli.
spiritual battle, Tiana.
say hi.
This is a spiritual battle. And because it's a spiritual battle, you are already on the winning side. That's what we have to make certain we're on the winning side. Because we do have to be corrupt like others. When we have to deceive, that's not the God side. And who is God? The God created even the spirit that's trying to deceive you or create it's God created all of it. So
Hmm.
he gotta be the winner. And if
Yes,
we get on the winning side, there's nothing that our Father will not do for us. And
yes.
I
And I
want you
had
to
to
know we're praying. We are
thank you.
praying.
Trust me, I'm praying too, because Lord knows. And I had to tell myself it's okay because I wanted things to be peaceful and handled in a peaceful way. But as you know from the phone calls yesterday, it
Yeah,
ain't peaceful.
it's
It's
a
not
fight.
peaceful.
It's a fight. And I will
Oh,
tell you this. Watch T. Don't ever get bold
And
enough
don't let anybody steal your
to
joy.
call me and talk to me about any of my guests trying to infiltrate what God called them to. So, baby Tiana, speak your truth. Because I'm a person ain't afraid of nobody. I'm a child of God. The
amen
weapons
to
of our
that.
warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. My God can do
Oh,
anything.
Mom,
And that's
look.
why I'm
Mom,
fearless.
look.
So come for me. Help! The world
Look.
can't.
Amen to
Look.
that.
Look, Mom.
I got a big mouth. I got a big mouth. So, do you want to let's read this last thing that Khadijah wrote? I appreciate her interaction. I know I see Tim. He's been interacting with us. We've had a couple of eyes on the show tonight. I will say this: that we're definitely going to do our tweaking of the
Yeah, I
show
see my
because
cousin Patsy Jones is watching.
oh, she is. Oh, wow,
Nikki,
Hi,
wow, wow!
sister.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, I'm
yeah,
just gonna
Nikki
pray.
watching. Then we got Tim. Tim, it's all good. We know you
And
have your family
Tiana,
reunion. Tim, we love you. We look
enjoy
forward to you
yourself.
joining us again. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Even if for a brief moment, there are people that are going to join. I mean, I'm sorry, they're going to see this later on. We thank you in advance for your support. We thank you for your views, your likes, your comments, your shares, your prayers,
Yes.
and all of the above. We ask of you that you could, if you do have any access to a family attorney and any type of information that you can give here for this young lady, our cousin, please tag an attorney or your favorite attorney. And we would definitely appreciate that as well. And yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just grateful. And as far as the comment here, I'll read the sick thing about it is that it's the manipulation of faith of the believers and
Mhm.
all who seek refuge and give up their children. And that is so dark and shattering to your faith. My God.
Oh,
Ooh,
And that's one of
you
the
just said
things that we want to talk about as well. We want to talk about, we're going to get into that conversation another time, but
yeah,
we're going to unpack church hurt because
yeah.
church hurt is a broad, that's a
and that's
broad
dangerous.
expression. But what are the different examples of church hurt? And what are people's
Mm.
stories that made them feel like they don't want even no parts of it anymore? Well, this is a huge category, right? Please make no mistakes about it. Being that people have suffered in silence and people have not covered them or protected them, this is one of the aspects of church hurt, and there's many more. So we're going to unpack that one of these episodes. So definitely thank you for bringing that up, Khadija, because that's something serious. It could be very shattering, and that's one of the
Yeah.
things and one of the reasons why we're here is because we want to have open conversations, and maybe it could be a part of the healing process to maybe reunite people in these
Mhm.
spaces that they have been alienated from for so long. But we all got to do our part. And that means the leadership. That means you too. That includes
Mhm.
you. That includes you.
Right, right, right.
That is right.
So, I want to give a quick prayer, if y'all don't mind, and we're going to say good night to everybody. First of all, Lord, we just thank you for this moment. We thank you for this time. We thank you for Tiana being an amazing guest. And God, we ask that you work in on her favor, God. All things work together for the good to them that love God, to them who are called according to your purpose, God. And we thank you, oh God, that you've called her into this time and this season to be this beautiful mother to these beautiful young boys. And we ask you in the name of Jesus that you let God arise and his enemies be scattered. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Listen, guys, y'all have a great evening. We're going to see you next time. My lighting went down. I'm sorry I couldn't
Amen.
fix it in the middle of the show, but I love you guys, and we're going to see you the next time. All right. Thank you again, Tiana. Thank you, Deborah. You are the most amazing co host. And Timmy, yes, we miss you, and we'll see you
I
next time. All right. God bless you.
love
Thank
you
you for
guys. Thank you
enjoying
for
the talk
having me.
stone with us. All
Yes.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
See you
love
Thank
my
you so
later.
much for
family.
having me.
I love you so
Yes,
much.
love you guys.
Mwah.
Thank you.
God
God
Bye,
bless.
bless. Have a
everyone.
good night. Peace. Like,
Peace.
Peace.
comment, share, subscribe.
There you
Like,
go.
comment, share, subscribe. Peace.
Amen
Yeah.
to that.